Here is Protectli Vault V1610, and each of these ports are having 2.5 Gbps. For example, if you want to have 10 Gbps bandwidth, so you can have LAN aggregation over here, where all these aggregated network can give you desired throughput. At the same time, you can use it for the fault tolerance and all of that. So this is one of the scenarios. This can be your, for example, WAN 1 and this could be WAN 2. So you can have the WAN failover configured here. So if you have the Wi-Fi access point, so maybe you can have a separate network with this particular setup here. So one could be connected over here where the Wi-Fi network is isolated. And then, for example, this will be my switch. And then I have, for example, my home lab. So one of the ports is connected there. So one you can have for the direct connection. OPNsense is already installed here, and these all can be used for different purposes. So if I take this device, so I can just simply plug in the internet cable here, and then I can connect my laptop. So this will be protecting as a firewall to my laptop. And in case I have any Wi-Fi access point, so I can simply connect the Wi-Fi access point here. While travel in hotels or anywhere I go, I will be having the same policies applied on all my devices on the network. Multiple scenarios are there. So I have installed Proxmox on this, and Proxmox is working as a virtualization platform. And inside Proxmox, I have installed OPNsense as a gateway and router and next generation firewall inside the Proxmox as a virtual appliance. So why I have done this? Because I want to make the maximum utilization of this particular hardware. Some of the virtual machines that I frequently use, not only for the backup, but also for some development stuff. So I can carry that with me all the times, even if I travel. So I can take this particular device, and Proxmox is already there, OPNsense is already there. So it is not only protecting my virtual machines inside, but it is also protecting my home network. So what I have done here, one of the port is directly a virtual port, which is available inside the Proxmox. And all of these ports are again working as a PCI pass-through, which means that OPNsense is directly using these ports instead of a virtual port. This particular port is directly connected to the Proxmox. If I want to manage or if I want to configure Proxmox, I can simply connect this cable over here, and this has got static IP for both these devices. So with that, I'm able to configure the Proxmox. This other port is right now connected as a VMBR0. So this is again connected to my switch. One of the port is connected to the Wi-Fi, another is connected to the guest Wi-Fi. Because the physical ports are available, of course, I have not segregated the network with the help of VLAN. This particular port is connected as VMBR0. So the port number 1 is connected as VMBR0, which means that all the virtual machines on the Proxmox are able to get the IP addresses on this particular network through this particular switch. Of course, there are a variety of options. I could connect it internally also, but this one is the PCI pass-through, which is directly on OPNsense, and this one is connected to the Proxmox. So this is physically connected to OPNsense directly. This port is also physically connected to this directly. So these 4 ports are directly PCI pass-through to OPNsense, and these two, so one is directly connected to Proxmox, another is VMBR0. This is one of the scenarios which I have explained, but there could be a variety of scenarios. Do the link aggregation here, where you could use multiple ports for the WAN, and these multiple ports can be aggregated to create 10 Gbps, for example. Or you can also use fault tolerance. For example, if you have multiple switches on your network, if one of the switches failed, another switch is taking care of the data. So you could use the link aggregation for that purpose. You could use for the fault tolerance, or you can use it for the maximum throughput, or various other scenarios are there which I have already explained in OPNsense. And another reason could be that you want to isolate the physical network. So one of the networks, as I mentioned, this could be your guest Wi-Fi, this could be your staff Wi-Fi, this could be your home lab or the LAN network, this could be wireless LAN network, and so on. Of course, reason of having V1610, it gives you flexibility, because with one port or 2 ports, you have limited possibilities or limited scenarios. When you have any scenario, you can use this device for that particular scenario. So you are now flexible enough to use this particular device whenever you need it. As I mentioned, that for Proxmox, I used one particular port for the Proxmox as a VMBR. Then one port is directly connected to Proxmox without VMBR, where I'm managing the Proxmox only with one port. And OPNsense is virtual appliance which is installed inside Proxmox, but it is giving the maximum network performance because the network interface cards are directly connected to OPNsense. And why I installed as a virtual appliance, why not as a physical appliance? The reason is because I will get the flexibility of backing it up as a complete appliance. Of course, I could just turn off OPNsense and I could turn on PFSense. I could turn off PFSense and I could turn on Arista. I could turn off Arista and I could use YOS or any other next generation firewall I can use without reinstalling any of the appliance. Second thing is that Proxmox as a virtualization platform, of course, it gives me flexibility where I can do the maximum utilization of this particular device. I have not used the integrated eMMC. I have installed the M2 SSD, which is 2 terabyte. It is giving me flexibility, of course, to use this as a NAS. From the home lab, I'm backing up the virtual machines, and from the network also, I'm backing up some of the data here. Of course, original data is available, but this works as a backup also. And I have now flexibility, of course, here to add more virtual machines. I can keep them turned off to make sure that it doesn't consume 100% of the available resources. But as the storage is available on the go when I want to do the development or if I want to continue exploring my virtual machines and all of that, so on the go, I can use it as well. So this is the reason why I would recommend you to go for Protectli Vault V1610. The reason is, of course, it has 6 ports available. So this was all about it. Subscribe to the channel where I have mentioned how I have configured that, which will give you a basic idea at how you can configure it for your home. Let us continue the next video and we'll understand how we can use it.